It's 2025, and the state of gaming on the PC platform is, in my opinion, awful. Let's talk about that. I'm Torloff, and welcome to me yammering on about stuff. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. This past week, Black Ops 7 launched, and this kind of sent me on the spiraling of being upset at a game. Not the game itself. I mean, the game itself is fine. It's what you'd expect. A co-op campaign from Call of Duty. I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, so maybe if you're a big Call of Duty fan, you'll get more out of it than I did, but it is a lot of nonsense. And the first start of nonsense was when I booted up the game the first time, and it's like, secure boot is not enabled. Okay, I could have sworn I had secure boot enabled, and when I went into my BIOS, yep, I did have my secure boot enabled, but I had to regenerate a key for Windows to be happy because I'd moved my OS from an older drive to a much larger, newer drive, but that upset it. So, whatever. I enabled secure boot and proceeded to, well, did the keys and whatever I needed to do to make it work, and went back into Windows to play this game with my friends. So, I boot up Black Ops 7, and because of the anti-cheat, for some reason, now it takes 2.5 minutes to boot. Well, to load. I should say load. To load the game. And I don't understand what it's doing, or how that benefits me as the end user. I'm already not going to play your PvP. I played like 2 matches of it while we were waiting for the waffle. It wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. I just don't care. COD PvP has never really been for me. It's always been kind of a mess, so I'm not going to harp on about it. If you like COD PvP, more power to you. But Waffle had the same problem I did, but his was actually worse. It required him to update his BIOS so he could get a version of Secure Boot and the TPM to work the way he wanted. Or should I say, the way Windows wanted it to work, or COD wanted it to work. So I understand the need for a thing like Secure Boot and a trusted platform module, and things to make systems more secure. My problem is, I'd be more okay with this concept if you weren't sucking up my data 24/7, watching everything I'm doing on my computer, so you can sell buy info to advertisers so they can send me more ads. What? This is my problem. Windows 11 is not a secure platform. I don't trust my mission critical systems on Windows. I haven't for over a decade. Well, almost a decade. My server is getting up there in age, but it's not quite that old yet. But I have had a file server that has been running on not Windows for quite some time, and where I store all the important files, backup photos and stuff. It's not on a Windows machine, it's on a Linux machine. And then the last 1.5 years, 2 years, almost 2 years now, I have been daily driving Linux on my laptop. And I've been doing translation work, CAD, 3D printing, slicer, and this year I dual booted my main PC to have Bazzite on it as a secondary. Why? Because I'm tired of Microsoft's bullshit. And when I say Microsoft, I don't say like the Xbox team, because honestly, the Xbox team's trying their hardest, but if up top's like, well, we're gonna put all these AI features into Windows, but sir, no one wants those. I don't care, do it anyway. Like, the only thing we can do is not use Windows, which is hard because, you know, every PC game basically runs on Windows natively. But Steam's work on Proton and Wine have been game-changing, and I would like to see more platforms or platform holders jump in on that, because honestly, I think there's a lot of power in letting people do what they want with their software that they purchase. If they want to run it on Windows, let them do it. If they want to run it on Linux, you should let them do it. The problem is that anti-cheat exists. And this anti-cheat, for whatever reason, despite being able to be countered by hardware mods, it exists. And they've shoved it down our throats to the point where it's like, well, fine, deal with it. It's like, just ban the user. Just don't let them play PvP. Or they'll just buy another game. I don't understand why this is the solution when, you know, we have a problem. We're making something. We're trying to make something more secure. Lock it down to the T's. You know, why not adjust things? Come up with another way that doesn't involve running intrusive software on someone's machine? Because what happens if there's a rogue employee or these companies get hacked, right? What if someone gets in and does something with the anti-cheat? Okay? This kernel level anti-cheat. It puts a virus in it, which we have seen happen with other kernel level anti-cheats. I think it was BattleBit or something. And then it gets access to the lowest level of your systems and can install like all sorts of malware in there. And then malware that can persist between installs because it lives on the bloody microcode on your BIOS. Look, I'm not saying trust me. Like, there's security professionals out there who probably know more about this than me. But I feel like maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't be giving kernel level access to an anti-cheat for a game. I feel like that's just going to end poorly for us as end users. Whether you want to agree or disagree with me, that's fine. But I'm just not a fan of this. And I'm not a fan of being forced into, like, strong-armed into using these systems just to play a game with my friends. Whether you want to agree or disagree with me, that's totally up to you, and I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. But what I am going to say is you could at least acknowledge that there is a problem here and understand that when I say I want gaming to be better, I need the Windows team to smarten the fuck up. I am not kidding. I think in SteamOS hits mainstream and you can install it on any computer, people should consider moving to it. At least dual booting with it. If Microsoft sees a huge decrease in its user base, it's gonna have to shift and make things better. I don't think there's any way I'm gonna get off Windows 100% because Xbox is so intrinsically tied into Windows, and it's annoying to me, but it is what it is. But I feel like with the way Linux gaming is going, it's not perfect over here. Don't get me wrong, it is not perfect on Linux. But if, you know, I want to record a video and, you know, I'm editing a video on this, first time I've ever used KDEN live. The voiceover tool was being weird, so I'm using Audacity to record this. But I'm entirely on open source software here on Bazite and getting things done. And this is what I mean, is you don't need Windows. Windows needs you. And the longer we let Windows push us around and we don't take the stand. Like, I understand there are people out there who didn't grow up with older, better versions of Windows and who've never seen like XP and 7, well, even 7 people didn't like that much, but it was well regarded compared to 10, who was just 7 plus other things. But again, I feel like XP was like maybe peak Windows for a lot of people, and ever since then it's been compromise after compromise, and we're end of life one version of Windows and people compromise and go to the next one, and then people talk about that good one. It's like every other version of Windows is good. 10 was a mess at launch, I will freely admit that, but it was way better than 8.1. Way better than 8.1. But 8.1 was trying to be something else, and that's my problem. Is Windows 11 is the AI operating system that no one gives a fuck about. We only use it because we have to. And I'm trying to tell you that you can use Linux for a lot of things. Now, I'm not saying just excuse me. I'm not saying just be I've got to walk away from PC gaming entirely. No. But I think slowly easing yourself into Linux is probably the best solution. How do I propose that you do this? The way I did it was I started with a file server. I set up a file server on my system, on my network. You could use something like a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is like a Raspberry Pi 5 is surprisingly usable for like web browsing and video, like watching videos or whatever, and like light office work. So if you just need another computer that does light office work and video browsing, and maybe you want to have something that you can host videos on, I would look into either Pi or some of that old Windows 10 hardware that got basically end of life this year. Probably get some good deals there and turn it into something that you can use, and then just learn the ins and outs of Linux, because that's the thing. Some of us have been using Windows our entire life, and it has been a slow, and it's like, I don't want to use it. I don't want to say you have to force yourself to use Linux every day, but the more you get used to it and used to its quirks, the faster you'll be able to adapt, and I don't want to say become proficient, but become comfortable. And that's the thing. Linux, like Fedora in particular, in the last year has become a lot more comfortable to me than Windows 11. Windows 11 kind of feels alien now, where it's all over the place. I still know how to do stuff on Windows, but I just don't like it. And the way you install an app and it's like, here's a desktop shortcut. Desktop shortcuts are stupid. I don't like them. Just put them on the taskbar. Like, if I showed you my desktop on both my laptop and my desktop here in Bazite, there is not a single desktop icon. Why? Because I don't use them. I rarely use them. Desktop shortcuts are so useless. Just pin them to this taskbar or use the start menu. KDE, my preferred graphical user interface, has a favorite section. Just add the stuff you use all the time to the favorite section, or put it on the taskbar. Like having just like my web browser on the taskbar, just always there, is so much better to me than anything else. But this is the thing. Like Windows is like, well, the taskbar's in the middle now. Go fuck yourself. And you need a third-party app to fix that. I can change the icons on my start menu. like on my PC, on the desktop here in Bazzite, it's there, a little heart there. It's adorable. I've got all sorts of things, and there are solutions for hardware that you have out there. You have a stream deck. Oh my god, it's so hard to say sometimes when there's two of them. The stream deck, it has an open source driver. You'd have to reset up all your quick keys and whatever, but you can do it. It's here. You have a Go XLR like I do. Guess what I'm recording on right now? It has a full open source driver version. Runs in a browser here on Bazzite, but whatever. As long as it works, right? Like if I have to load into it via local host or whatever on a on a website basically that's running just on the system versus having it just be an app, whatever, I don't care, as long as it works. And that, I think, is the thing, is if it works, that's all we need. But I think I've rambled long enough. I'm gonna actually edit this a bit and then put it up. And I'm glad everyone watched and, you know, listened to me yammer on about all sorts of stuff. Please, 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 give Linux a shot. I know it's alien at first, but you'll get used to it quicker than you think. But until next time, atene.